Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, Season 1 Reloaded was kind of a disaster when it first launched for MW3 and Warzone. Now, luckily, yesterday we did see sort of an emergency update go out overnight that ended up fixing some of the major game-breaking issues. We already covered some of those changes in a video, but over the past 24 hours, Raven and Call of Duty has also put out even more new updates for Warzone and MW3. They've also teased some major upcoming updates as well, and even gone in and addressed why Season 1 was such a mess. So we'll start first with that. This is a new post from Raven that went out yesterday afternoon. We wanted to address the issues that players encountered during the Season 1 Reloaded launch period. We've been laying the groundwork for the return of some fan favorite features in upcoming seasons, which has required a degree of preemptive setup in our live environment. So they're basically just prepping things in the game now for when they add in some returning features further on down the road. However, yesterday's update shipped with some of that work, and we unfortunately encountered a conflict between live player data and our servers. Our teams were made immediately aware of these issues and began investigating shortly after the update went live. We rallied studio teams from around the world to get these issues resolved as swiftly as possible. We as devs love the game and apologize for the disruption that resulted from these events. Please know that we hold ourselves to a high standard, and yesterday's issues did not align with that. With that said, we're also very excited for what's ahead and look forward to bringing the best we can to Warzone. So, I mean, straight up, I don't feel like it's ever necessary that an update launches as broken as Season 1 Reloaded did, but I will say it is nice to see actual communication here. We saw, several game-breaking updates in previous iterations of multiplayer and Warzone, and it was always just a waiting period of, is it fixed yet? Is it fixed yet? At least with this, they had it fixed, almost within 24 hours, and they have gone through and actually done some communication here. So props to them for actually talking about this, since it really hasn't been a thing in the past. And then kind of out of nowhere, Raven posted this. So anyway, what are some of the features we've been preparing for? Well, this. They tweet this image here, which, well, that's a specialist case. So they're now confirming that specialist bonus is going to be returning to Warzone in a future season. And you also might notice this background here. It's Rebirth. So they're teasing that. Like, obviously, we know that Fortune's Keep and Rebirth are coming back this year, but they are, teasing it a little bit here with this being up on the one like lighthouse tower thing. So specialist is going to be returning to Warzone, and then obviously Rebirth is on the horizon a bit way further on down the road. Obviously, Fortune's Keep is dropping first. Then we'll have Rebirth dropping at some point, probably closer to Gulf War. All right, well, post edit Zach here, new shirt Zach here, because I was about to go hit the gym, and Raven tweeted out this, saying today we've got a surprise meta update that actually finally nerfs the Interceptor and the Swarm, which you love to see. So with this, they say here are the exact changes that we've made to the following two weapons in Warzone. On the Interceptor, the maximum damage was reduced by 11. That's its close range damage. The near to mid damage was reduced to 72, down from 82. Mid damage reduced from 70, down from 80. Minimum damage, that's its long range damage, reduced to 66, down from 78. Neck multiplier reduced to 1, down from 1.5. And then on the Swarm, near to mid damage was reduced from 24 down to 20. Its mid damage was reduced to 18, down from 22. Far to mid damage reduced from 17, down from 20. Minimum damage reduced from 18 down to 16. So this on the Swarm nerfs its mid range and its long range. Its close range, those first 6 to 10 meters, are still going to be really, really good. The Interceptor across the board is definitely a lot worse. This is a significant nerf to the Interceptor, one that hopefully should knock it down away from being the only option you could possibly use for long range. So significant updates here for sure. But anyways, we now can get into some of the other updates that have gone live in the past 24 hours, some gameplay updates, fixes, all sorts of stuff like that. Initially, you might have already seen this if you played some Warzone, but they did go through and actually update the Champions Quest. This was initially disabled with the update with Season 1 Reloaded because it was game breaking. So they've gone through and re-enabled this now, so anyone can start going for those nuke streaks. You can win 5 games in a row, or if you win 30 games in a season, you'll be able to get that Champions Quest available, and you can try and go for some nukes. Keep in mind, if someone's also doing it in your game, you have the chance to steal it once, so that can be pretty fun to mess around with too. Now on the multiplayer side of things, Sledgehammer also did a slight content update yesterday. They did end up dropping Rust 24/7 as a featured playlist, so if you're looking for some more fast-paced gameplay, obviously there wasn't really any small map playlist featured in the initial update, so Rust 24/7 is now back. You love to see that. And also alongside that, ranked play is now live as well. Initially was supposed to go live the afternoon of Season 1 Reloaded, just a few hours after the update dropped, but of course, when everything was breaking, it probably wasn't a good idea to drop a ranked play mode. So they did say, hey, there's like a critical issue that we found with ranked play. We'll delay it indefinitely until we can get that fixed. Then they posted yesterday as well. Ranked play is now live. So if you're a fan of this, the competitive style in multiplayer, you can go through and play this, level up, go for top 250, get some new camos, some new operator skins, everything like that. Of course, Warzone ranked is not coming for a little while longer. All they've said so far with that is later on in 2024. So that could be season 2, season 3. We've got no real ETA on that, at least as of right now. Now, this is another big one because it's not entirely accurate. COD Updates posted saying, hey, a new update's live in Warzone. Players who are continuing to encounter issues related to using their loadouts may find that they need to swap out their current perk packages or delete and remake their custom perk packages. So while they did fix the loadout glitch, you can actually access your loadouts and play the game normally. Now, if you go to your loadout and you pick it up, you're probably going to notice it doesn't give you the correct perks. You could be using Mountaineer, Double Time, Tempered, and Flex like I do, for instance, and it's going to give you Scavenger and Battle Hardened and whatever the Plunder perk is, like the $sign or whatever. So it's not giving you the correct perks. They need to fully fix this and update it because only way to actually get your correct perks right now is a workaround of you need to create 2 perk packages that are the exact same. So whatever perk package you want to be using, basically duplicate that so you have 2, and then on every single class, select perk package 1. Essentially what the game is doing is when it's choosing your loadout, it gives you the correct weapons and everything, but for perks, it's technically choosing the perk package to the right of the one that you have selected in the menu. So if you have 2 that are the same and you select the first, it'll just give you the second one, but since that's the same, you end up getting the correct perks. So there's a slight workaround for that as of this moment, but they do need to go through and fully fix this. This is not an accurate patch note quite yet. By the way, quick reminder as we're going through all the notes here, if you guys are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with everything going on in COD. So if you always want to guarantee you're up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button, join us on the road to 1 million subs. And if you enjoy this video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It really does help grow the channel as well. Jumping back to the multiplayer side of things, Treyarch did also update something going on with ranked play. They say, PSA, we recommend that players edit their MW3 ranked play loadouts prior to matchmaking or in-game. Editing loadouts while matchmaking may allow you to select restricted items, and then you end up going into the game with a default class setup. You don't have your custom loadout or anything going on, so it's basically putting you at a severe disadvantage if you're accidentally putting something on while you're matchmaking, since there's no restrictions in place when that's happening. At least you can't cheese it, like it doesn't give you attachments you're not supposed to have. On the inverse, it just gives you a gun that's completely useless because it's got nothing on it. So be sure that if you are playing ranked play, you're setting up everything before you start searching for a match. This is another patch note that I'm not entirely sure is fully accurate. There was an issue going on with Season 1 Reloaded where there were no kill streak notification banners whatsoever. So someone could drop a cluster on you or an airstrike on you and you'd have no idea until it came swooping in and probably takes you out, right? They did say new updates live for Warzone. We resolved the following issue that was causing some kill streak banner notifications to not appear correctly. That said, as is with the same issue from the past 4 years of Warzone, basically, airstrike notifications, cluster notifications are insanely inaccurate. So at times you'll get that notification say, okay, there's a precision on me and it hits 2 buildings to your right, or you know it's going to be called in you from one direction and you start to run a different one and then it hits you way over there, or sometimes the notifications still don't show up. So while it is actually showing up at times, the accuracy is still very flawed. Another new update that went out, there is a new weekly challenge to try and get the attack evolver if you want, for multiplayer specifically, and it wanted you to use this AOK 4x RQ9 attachment on your gun. It's an optic, and for that challenge, if you use that optic, it wasn't tracking at all, but they have gone through and updated this. This is now resolved. The week 7 challenge can now be completed. So if you're going for those week 7 challenges and you want to do the multiplayer based ones and you want to use this optic for one, it's just straight up 30 kills. It's super easy. So that'll actually now track as intended and you can get closer to that progress for getting that attack evolver and eventually the coherent camo as well. And then this might be the biggest surprise of all. While we saw all these updates addressing some of the game-breaking issues and bugs and content stuff with Season 1 Reloaded, MW2 and DMZ got a random update as well with some patch notes. So they say we released a small update that addresses an issue with disguises. Those are now re-enabled in DMZ. They fixed an issue where saving a loadout with the FR Advancer's 556 receiver attachment would prevent players from entering the private match menu. An issue allowing the TAC-56 and TAC-V to be equipped with 6 attachments. Then also an issue where the Violent in a Violet skin was missing eye makeup. So a couple of small updates there, but wasn't expecting anything to happen with DMZ yesterday. But yeah, with all that being being said, those are all the new changes and new updates that are now live in Warzone. Nice to see that we had some additional patch notes go out to fix some of the other lasting problems post-emergency update to just fix the game in general. I imagine that over the coming days throughout the weekend, we're probably going to see some other minor updates go out, and if that's the case, you guys know I'll have you covered with all the details whenever they happen. So stick it here for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It is always seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.